Hi all, welcome to video number 2 of your project number 2 COVID-19 vaccination program on the University of Memphis campus. I will be covering your communications plan for this portion of the project. The communications plan is the cornerstone of implementation for any project or program. It is essential to understand what messages you are intending to convey, who your audience is, and how they will best receive the information. Unplanned communications will almost always arise in any project or program implementation. However, having a solid understanding of these points will improve your ability to respond appropriately. I am actually going to be providing you with a table format as your template. It will have all of these headings in the top portion of the actual table format. You will be completing the actual template and doing this, of course, to the best of your ability, covering all of these items here. You should include a total of 8 weeks at least of planned communications for the phases listed. They are the same phases that we used in project number 1. You will have planning, implementation, post-implementation, evaluation. The amount of time spent on each phase is different for every project. I do not expect you all to have the same duration in your planning phase and in your implementation phase and in your post-implementation phase. Please make sure you are doing your own work on this individual project and that you should obviously not ever turn in your friend's work. Make sure that this is original work. You will see that some students have a lot of time in the planning phase, others will have more time in the implementation phase, and also in the follow-up. Obviously, this is hypothetical, but if you were doing this in real life, you would probably have a whole lot of time in planning as well as a lot of time in implementation. Obviously, this is a very abridged version of that because, again, this is, obviously a hypothetical project. But what I want you to think through what would be possible to accomplish in 8 weeks of planning, implementation, post-implementation evaluation. You are going to show me at least 3 forms of communication per week. Examples of communications include emails, conference calls, face-to-face interactions, Zoom conferencing or Microsoft Teams conferencing, standing meetings, face-to-face meetings. You will all put each form of communication, each type of communication will be done on a separate line. Okay, a separate row in the chart. This means you will have at least 24 rows of communications. Okay, and you will need to make sure that you are detailing this week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This should be absolutely labeled, the 8 weeks, so that I can see that you have hit your marks. You'll label it the first week, the second week, the third week, and so forth. And then you'll make sure that you're putting 3 forms of communication under every single week. That is very important. It helps me understand that you get this project and that you can apply what I've told you to critical thinking application, real life scenario. You will see that I have included each of these communication items in your chart. You will make sure that you complete it for all 24 rows or more of communications for this project. I'm going to give you an example of an email communications, how you would proceed with this. Let's just say you're going to send out an email and I would provide the date of my email to be sent. The date, we'll put it as April 1st. The purpose of the communication item, it will be registration, okay? Vaccine registration. That's the purpose of my communication item. The key messages to be conveyed. Well, what would I want to communicate about vaccine registration? I would want to give highlights here. Vaccination registration website will open up on what date, right? It would be a very brief summary of the key messages to be conveyed. This can be done in bullet points. It can also be done in short phrases, okay? Please do not give me an entire email. That's not what I'm looking for. I want you to tell me the highlights, okay? The overall bullet point statements of what is going to be what are the key messages. The sender, right? It might be the program manager, the project manager. The receiver might be the University of Memphis target audience, right? We discussed the target audience for this actual project. Who would the target audience be? Make sure you have included all responsible parties, okay? We discussed students, but who else might be a target population on the University of Memphis campus? Think through that. And then, of course, the method of communication would be email. And is there follow-up needed? Do I need to follow up with this communication item? Do I need to, if that's yes, it would be yes in my example, because you would want to provide the registration link more than one time to your population, because you would want to make sure that everyone saw it, correct? You might provide a different type of communication. You might provide this on many different areas too. If you're rolling out the registration link, where else might you put that? You might put it on social media, right? A Facebook page, Instagram page. Maybe you'd make a fun Snapchat about it, whatever it was. So again, make sure that you are covering all your bases and you are thinking through these types of communication. You can absolutely have social media up here. It should not be limited to social media. You need to have multiple types of communication items. So I should not just look at your page and see, oh, this person is sending 24 emails. That's not at all what I'm looking for with this. You need to have a diverse plethora of types of communication. You should be utilizing and making it as real world as possible. Please spend some necessary time on this, because the more time I can tell when assignments or when actual time is put into assignments, the product is much more appealing and much more, and it makes sense, right? It generally makes sense, as opposed to a lot of really last minute assignments. So make sure you are spending adequate time on this and answering the questions. Please email me with questions after you have gone through your resources. I have also provided a lot of information under Module 8 about communications within project management. Have a wonderful day.